Hello, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to talk to you about choosing an insurance company for your dog. Now, this is an important thing because if your dog gets ill and you can't afford it, then you will need the money to pay for whatever treatment they need. But a point I do just want to make is I don't have insurance. Now, I have done for last 30 years or whatever. But when we got Albert, I stopped it. And I will tell you about that why in a minute, but I just wanted to make the point that I don't want you to think that I'm just saying, yeah, you need insurance and this is what you need to do. It's not that straightforward. So basically insurance, I'm sure you know how it works. You get your animal insured, you get your dog insured, and then if you have to go to the vet, so there's an amount, it's normally £50. Anything over £50, you have to pay, they will pay that, and you pay monthly for your animal. Now I'm in the UK, this could work differently around the world, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same all around. I mean, that's just the whole way insurance works. And the more you claim on it, the higher the cost gets. Exactly the same with your house or your car or something like that. It works exactly the same. And you just, call around and get the best deal that you can. It's nice and straightforward from that perspective, just like any other insurance that you would get. But where it got complicated for us was that Albert that I'm showing you here, he has two conditions. He has a learning behavioural condition, which shows itself pretty much exactly the same as human autism. And he's been fine. He's a very happy dog. He's been fine. But I'm always on the lookout for a good neurologist, just in case he ever isn't fine, especially as he gets older. And I just want to, if I need to, I want to be able to go and see a neurologist. The other condition he has, if you've watched my hotspot videos, you will know that when he first came to us when he was small, he had such bad skin, such bad hotspots that we talked about putting him down because his quality of life wasn't nice at all. It was awful. But you'll know that I sorted all that out and I cleared it all up, and 9 years later here he is. But the point is that at that time I was looking at skin specialists and going down that road. And as it happened, I did the research myself, I got it sorted out, and it's a long old story. Go and watch the video, How to Stop Hotspots. Now, when I spoke to my insurance company, they wouldn't let me see the skin specialist that I wanted to see. They said that I had to see the one that they recommended. Now, even though I didn't need a skin specialist and I've never needed a neurologist, I know that there may come a time. Well, there won't come a time when I need a skin specialist because that's nailed done. But there may come a time when I need to see a neurologist. I do not want to have to go to the specialist that the insurance company says that I have to. I want to pick the place that I go. So the insurance companies get in with specialists, for example, and say you can only go to this specialist. They could be the most useless specialist in the whole world, but your insurance company has got some kind of business deal going with them where they are the only specialist that you will see. So they could be utterly rubbish and they can be anywhere in the country. So I cancelled the insurance. That is of no use to me. And I phoned around different insurance companies, and the first question I asked was, can I go to my own specialist, or can I only go to specialists that you recommend? And every single one of them said, you can only go to ones that we recommend. Now that is of absolutely no use to me. So I cancelled my insurance, and I cancelled Harry's as well, because although he doesn't have any conditions like that, I thought you never know when you're going to want a specialist. So I cancelled their insurance, and then what we do is we put the money into a bank account every month. And it's amazing actually how quickly that's building up, because they don't go to the vets much, so it's building up. And we don't use it for feeding them or anything like that. We only use that if we needed to go to a vet and they needed any kind of treatment. As such, they've never needed it. So this, the money's built up. Now I know people who have dogs who say that their dog is on medication now. It's normally in later life. Their dog was on medication. If they didn't have insurance, they wouldn't be able to afford the medication. And see, that's what I'm saying. You just got to look at your financial situation. And if you think that something like that happened, you wouldn't be able to afford it, then you would maybe need to get insurance. But for me, it was more, well, if Albert needs a neurologist, I will make the sacrifices that I have to make later on in life if he needs medication that's expensive, so that I can afford to pay for it. You just got to weigh your personal situation up, and no one can tell you. Everyone's personal situation is completely different, so nobody can tell you. Something else you need to watch is, and I think this goes for all insurances, but I heard a story of someone who, their dog hurt their cruciate ligament in their knee and they needed to have an operation, and it cost £5,000. The insurance company paid it, but then a couple of years later the same thing happened in the other knee, and the insurance company said that it's a known fact that if one cruciate goes, the other knee will go is very likely to go a few years later. Don't quote me on that, I've no idea if it's true. And therefore they said that it was an existing injury and they wouldn't pay for the second one, and so the people had to pay for it themselves. £5,000 is an awful lot of money, you know. And so, you know, don't just think you get insured and then you are safe, because you're really not. And I think that when you're on medication, long-term medication that's expensive, they give you a real good tough ride over it. They don't just pay it out. But like I said, on the other hand, if you've got a dog that needs long-term medication and you don't have the money to pay for it, and you are insured, then that might be the difference between whether you can keep the dog or not, which of course is very important. So it's not a straightforward thing at all. But I just wanted to mention it, that it really isn't straightforward. I don't know what else to say. It really, really isn't straightforward. And like I said before this, the dogs I've had before Albert, I've been insured their whole lives. Cats I've had have been insured their whole lives. I've had tortoises and I've never insured them because you can't. But Albert is the first dog that I didn't, stop the insurance. And then when Harry came along 4 years later, I didn't even bother to get him insured, because I just thought, well, no, I never know if a situation is going to come up where I'm going to need a specialist and they won't let me see who I want to see. And that's really important, because I think if I'm at the point of any situation where I go to a specialist, it's a very, very serious point for my dog. And I'm not just going to want to go to anybody. I'm going to want to go to the one that I want to go to. And the insurance company say, no, you have to go to the one they pick. Oh, it's so difficult, because these people are running businesses, and I understand that they've got money to make. And so getting into cahoots with, a specialist it makes sense, doesn't it? It's probably a good business thing, but it's terrible from the perspective of the dog. And you know me, dogs always come first. So that's that. There's little Albert having his sleep next to his cool mat. Clearly he's not hot. Bless his little heart. Having a little sleep. So that's it. That's all I've got to say about the situation. If you have got anything you'd like to tell me about insurance companies, please can you put it into comments, or even if it's just to say hello, I would like that. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, Furry and Spoilt, hashtag Furry and Spoilt, so you can show me your little lovelies. Website, as I'm recording this, I'm in the middle of building it. It is live, so that's there. Everything's under Furry and Spoilt. I think that's it. So I'm going to go now. They'll be asking for their dinner in a minute. He doesn't look like he's going to, but he will spring into action in a minute and start staring at me because he'll want his dinner at 4 o'clock. Right, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a really lovely day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.